Welcome back to the COS Business Podcast, the #1 podcast in Colorado Springs.
Our highlighted sponsor of today is Planet Duck.
Well, today we have a very special guest, a dear friend of mine. We've known each other for about a decade, I would say.
A decade?
Decade.
Nice, okay.
Mr. Gary Leon, what's up, brother?
How are you?
Yeah,
I thought we were doing this in Spanish.
Oh, yeah. We're putting subtitles up. No, I was just kidding.
This guy wants to do stuff in Spanish.
Yeah,
What's up, man? So for a lot of our viewers who don't know you, tell us a little bit about you and your story. It's a cool one, but also I want to kind of range into like your career and what you did early in your career as well.
I went to school in Orlando for audio engineering, and then I ended up interning at Atlantic Records. Or before at Atlantic, I interned like 4 years or 3 years at different studios, just learning the game. And then one day I got introduced to a A&R at Atlantic, and I started just following him around and just learning the business, learning the creative part, and just knowing the characters in the building. So yeah, it was pretty.
What's the A&R?
A&R is the artist and repertoire. We pretty much like sign artists from ground level to the artists that are popping, and we just try to make the best deals possible that are beneficial for both parties. And we're in the creative process from the ground up. So we're in the studio, we're connecting the dots, we're putting plays together, like we're just doing it all at the same time.
Do you scout out like talent from all across the country? Is that kind of what you mean with A&R? Like, is it more like think about sports? Like you have like a scout who goes out across the country and just like finds really good talent. Is that sort of some of the job as well?
Yeah, basically, pretty much, yes.
How do you do that? Like, what does that involve?
Going to shows, being on the computer a lot because of technology, just searching for stuff, having great friends, that have valuable information as far as like which artists are like popping in the streets or buzzing. So, it's a whole 360 view of it. It's not really just one way. It's like so many different ways that you could bring in the artist.
Yeah.
What got you into music, man? It sounds like it's been something that's been a part of you for quite some time. And since I've known you, most definitely, it's always been a big part of who you are.
I was in Torrance, California, and before that, I was just like a nerd. Yeah, I wasn't doing too much. I would just go to school, and then my cousin from my mom's side, there are a bunch of gangsters on that side. So he played Tupac. I think it was Tupac or Bone Thugs and Harmony, one of the two, and I automatically just fell in love with music from there.
Nice.
West Coast music too, yeah?
Yeah, all
Cleveland
West Coast.
is the city that we come from. That's Bone Thugs.
How old are you?
I'm 31.
Oh, 31. I thought you were younger. You look like 22. I was like, yo, I'm surprised that.
No.
Because I shaved.
He shaved his beard. Now he looks like he's 18 again.
That was actually my goal, so that's kind of funny. It worked.
That's awesome, brother. Well, it's cool because I know you have some roots back here in the Springs as well. Your father was like a big business mogul. You kind of have that in your blood. Can you tell us a little bit about like your family? Because I think it's very inspiring to see like what you're, especially on like the men in your family and what they've done.
Yeah. And thank you for acknowledging that. It is pretty inspiring, and I worked my entire career to try to make them proud. So yeah, thank you for that. The question one more time.
So, you've had an unbelievable father who passed. Like it's been 2 years or been a year now. I can't.
A year.
It's been a year now, and then you had an uncle who passed a few years back as well. And I've got a chance to meet them both when I was a little bit younger, and like just unbelievable guys, like business moguls in their own right. They've partnered before with another one of your uncles and created some really cool, huge businesses. And just kind of wanted to unpack that with you because it's a really cool story.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they were illegal immigrants from Guatemala. They made their way over the border, and they worked all kinds of jobs when they were younger, from hair salon to pizza delivery to newspaper delivery. But they kept a tight niche between all of them. And one day, I think it was one of the brothers from Guatemala came over, and he's like, yo, I have this idea of having the people in the United States, like the Latin community, transfer their money from the U.S. to back to Guatemala. So that was the idea in the 80s. And at the time, I think it was the U.S. Postal Office that had a full control on the market. And I think they would charge like $80 to $90 per send. And I think in the 80s, my dad and his brothers dropped it all the way to like $40. So that meant that a lot more people could send money back to their countries, to their families, and provide support for those third world countries. So yeah, no, it was crazy. Just growing up, it was kind of like Richie Rich style, but yeah, it was inspiring. And yeah, the things that they were able to accomplish, like from being illegal immigrants to sell to a public company in 2008 and do all that, like, definitely amazing.
And now a word from our sponsors.
Pinnacle Advanced Primary Care. Pinnacle Advanced Primary Care is a healthcare company. Do you know what they do?
Yeah, so you just pay a monthly subscription.
So essentially, they help you have better healthcare, more affordable healthcare.
Wow.
That's pinnacleapc.com. Fast Signs. Fast Signs enhances your business visibility with custom signs, graphics, and marketing materials. Discover innovative branding solutions tailored to your needs at fastsigns.com. Cars Helping Charities.
Cars Helping Charities. Donate your car and make an impact with Cars Helping Charities. Your donation supports various causes with easy free pickup service. Make a difference today at carshelpingcharities.org. And what charity are we going to use today?
We're going to use Mattersville.
Mattersvillevets.org, right?
Mattersvillevets.org. That's what we're going to use.
Absolutely. Check them out, guys. They are a tiny house community based in Sedalia, Colorado, but they have locations all over, including other parts of Colorado. I think they have Hartselle as well that they just set up as well. Kansas locations, Florida locations.
Yeah, Kansas, the one, it's in Olathe. Olathe.
Oh, I didn't even know. That's a hard one to pronounce for sure. Check them out, guys. 2000. I didn't know it was that recent. 2000. I mean, that's still 16 years ago, but that's quite recent, right? For them to sell something of that sort and that magnitude.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool, man, and so inspiring. And then your uncle Pancho like ended up doing other different types of business ventures and things like that. And he was in California, right? I think I've met him a couple times back in the day, but he did a bunch of different stuff as well, right? Other than just the business with your dad.
Yeah, he has a vape company right now that does really, really well. And his real estate company, when the crash came in 2007, he had a good amount of cash on hand. So he bought in Vegas a bunch of homes. So those houses were $50,000, $60,000, and now they're worth like 200, 250. So, and plus he has the rental income. So yeah,
I could imagine probably even double than that, potentially. Well, I guess depending on the neighborhood, but yeah.
He quadrupled on that.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
he was ahead of his time when it came to his thought process and where to put his money.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Well, a little bit of backstory between Gary and me. I was best friends with his little brother, Derek. In our early 20s, late teens, early 20s, and we became best of friends. So I just met Gary just by, passer, like whenever he come and visit. Gary was already in California when me and Derek were really close and getting to know one another. But what I've always known about Gary, he's got that more aggressive personality. And when I was younger, I was kind of like that too. And Derek wasn't as much as like, I would say Gary. So like whenever I met Gary, I was like, oh, I like this guy. He's like giving me my crap back, and it was always great. But you've always been able to find a way into the things you want to do, and you've always been able to have really good mentors. So like, tell us a little bit about that story. You're in California, you're starting up in Atlantic, and you also have your Uncle Pancho as like your mentor, right?
Yeah. He pretty much told me everything to say, yo. It was like more than a mentor. It was crazy. He'd be like, yo, like, what's the feedback from your meetings? And I give him the feedback, and he'd be like, yo, when you go back, put the sentence like this and say it like this and say this type of words. And one thing that I just off the top of my mind, he's like, yo, just mention speed to market. So I was at a dinner with the CEO of Atlantic, and I mentioned, hey, this is blah, 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 speed to market. And his face just lit up.
Okay.
He's like, how do you understand that at your age? This is like older type of stuff. And he started taking me more serious after that, But I mean, with like incredible knowledge, he wasn't just like a regular CEO that gets the cars, gets the watches, and, shows off. He didn't have any of that stuff. Like when he got money, he went and educated himself even more. Like he went to Harvard, he took the summer class, like those type of things, man. But during that time, like he's just telling me what to say, and like my career is just like exploding, like
That's
I'm doing
insane, man.
everything that I want to do, signing artists, hanging around like all kinds of celebrities, and things like I was sitting in my basement here in Payton when I was like 15, 14, and I could like imagine all this shit, but I never thought that it would come true, like And here I am, like, holy shit, like that's Cardi B, that's Wiz Khalifa, that's Bruno Mars, like, like that's Joe Biden, even though I'm on the other side, like, but still, like, I'm in the vicinity of really important people, and I'm like, holy
Joe
crap.
Biden had a rap career?
No, he didn't have a rap career, but my artist, for his campaign, they toured with him, with Common, so like he was
Wow,
yeah.
okay.
So my artist was on tour with him the whole campaign.
That's awesome.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about you getting in the door there and like brushing shoulders with some of those more, prolific people in our, I mean, not like you said, not even just hip hop, but just like in U.S. history. I mean, you got the president of the United States or vice president when you met him or saw him. Tell us about the experience, because a lot of folks don't understand, like, to be around famous people all the time. And, we all have different reactions. I'm assuming when we see those types of people, and some people might not be able to react the right way, or some might seize the moment and see them as normal people and interact with them. But tell us about that experience.
I mean, when I was younger, I would definitely like fan out for sure. I'd be like, holy crap, like these are the people that I listened to. Like, these are the producers that I looked up when I was younger. I know them by name. I know every record that they've done. And like, here I am in the studio, like, hanging out with them, vibing out, creating music. So yeah, no, it's a pretty incredible like experience. And as I started to like level up, like I started to feel like more a part of their group. So I wouldn't get as like fanboyed out, and I would be like more in the conversation and just be one-on-one with them type thing. Being able to relate to them, because once they get to that level, it just becomes a whole different ball game in the way you gotta maneuver, and the way you gotta get your artist to perform. So you have to learn a lot and just be able to, I wouldn't say outsmart them, but, just keep them together so that way they can keep delivering, because it's a really fast paced business, and it goes up fast and it could come down fast too. So it's a whole different thing. But yeah, being around them was incredible. And, I'm glad that I got to experience that for sure. And, I wish that everyone could, because it's, when you get records and you're in the studio and they come out and they start to do well, it's like one of the best villains in the world.
For
like,
sure, yeah.
Like it's almost like I hate to say it, but you almost feel like a god type of of thing. Yeah.
Well, everybody listen. I mean, we talk about those types of people, and everybody in the world's listening to it. And California is like the capital. I always say, whenever I went to California when I was in my early 20s, we listened to music, and it would be like new music. Man, never heard this, never heard that. And then like 3 months later, 4 months later, in Colorado Springs, it'd be starting to pop up on the radio, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's why I listen to it, because they're the trend center over there. And to be around those types of people, I'm assuming you feel like it's borrowed time, just it's incredible, right?
Yeah, no, it is. Especially like, because you never see things like this, like when a person walks up the street and then people are just crowded around them taking pictures, you're like, oh my God, all this for one person? Like,
For sure,
wow, like really. A story that I'm not afraid to admit, but there was two artists, and one of them was Roddy Ricch, and I forget the other one's name, right? I was with them for 2 years in the studio, not on a personal, but I would be in the same studio as them. And I would say, yo, like Roddy's too quiet. He's never going to explode. He's not a star, right? And then the other guy, he was wild, like bringing guns into the studio, liquor, girls, like really extroverted, right? So I'm like, there's no way Roddy's gonna be a star. Fucking a year later,
Down below.
The box drops and he's 10
box,
times,
okay.
10 times platinum, and you're like, holy crap, I was dead wrong, So,
Yeah.
yeah, but he was there for 2 years, grinding it out every day in the studio. He wasn't messing around at all. Like, he was really dedicated to his craft, So when I seen that, I was like, yeah, anything's possible. Like, let me stop judging and, let's just get to work, because like, I really thought that he wouldn't make it, and he was the one that did,
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I think, like, especially being around creatives my whole professional career, everybody has their own methodology and how they get that creative juices going. I can only imagine for music, like, it's a myriad of different things, but I'm assuming smoking, drinking, or whatever the hell it might be. What break down like creative process? Was it kind of what we think, like, or was everybody kind of different for how they got into their creative space? Because I know Andrew, like he has his ways of his cadence to getting in his creative space, and same for even for me. I have creative sides to me too. But yeah, I want to know a little bit more about these these artists?
It's not like the movies, you know. Everyone thinks that it is, but like 96% of the time, it's super boring because the song is terrible, and you have to work through months and months of studio time to get to even the best songs. Like they're challenging. I've known of songs that we worked on for 2 years that we're like, holy crap, we're still like making changes to this song, like. So it's it's a challenge, so most of the time, like, have you ever seen the Biggie movie, like where like Puff Daddy comes in and gives him like the two girls and blah blah blah, and then he makes a hit song? Like, you wish that's what it's like, but it's really not. It's more not as fun, I would say.
Yeah. You have any fun stories with any celebrities that you care to share that they wouldn't mind you sharing? Or
I mean, I've had some just crazy stories, where it's too crazy to share. But yeah, like, had a lot of fun in my career, and I'm sure they keep having fun,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But probably the one that stands out to me because he was my favorite person. Was a Suede situation. We were in East LA, and everybody was telling us not to go to the show because it's like extremely dangerous over there. So we're in there, and Suede performs. We kill it, like it's like 2,000 kids, and next thing you know, Suede just leaves the party. He's like, "Yo, bro, you should leave." So I ended up leaving, and then I think it was like 10 minutes later, we get a call, and they're like, "Yo, there was a shootout in the concert, and like 6 people ended up passing away."
Are
and
you serious?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
One of my friends, who was the promoter of the party, she ended up getting shot, and I was right next to her the whole time. So I know if I would have stayed, I would have been right next to her when she got shot. So I was like, yo, I'm super grateful to make it out of there. And I'm not saying, go to those type of parties, but, like some wild stuff that you could live through and, have, it's not good that people pass away, of course, but,
Right.
it's definitely a crazy situation. That was a story that stuck out. That
Yeah.
Was, that was
Yeah,
wild.
that's nuts for sure. And like for you, you have a story of you leaving like the house, right? And like you left and did everything on your own. Talk a little bit about that, because a lot of people out there who are with their families and maybe they feel like they have a need to support their families or whatever it might be, taking care of little siblings or whatever. Talk about like for one, it's definitely harder to go out on your own, right? You're losing your support system, but two, like you have like this ultimate part of your life where you're just growing because you have to, or you're just not gonna. Like you're going to sink. It's either sink or swim, right?
Yeah.
And now a word from our sponsors.
Planet Duct. So do you want to tell us a little bit about who Planet Duct is? Do you know who they are?
They do. What do they do, Andrew?
Air duct cleaning. Planet Duct is an amazing air duct cleaning company here in Colorado Springs. Most powerful vacuums.
Most powerful vacuums?
Vacuums are more powerful than the vacuum of space. Franchise succeed.
All right, so Franchise Succeed is a company that takes mid-sized businesses and they help them expand them nationwide.
Yeah, they help them become a franchise. A cool business for anyone who is looking to franchise their business and expand their business and scale their business. They have the resources that you need. Ron Burgundy and you're Christine Applegate.
Yeah, I love it.
Neon Pig.
Neon Pig Creative is a graphic design agency located in downtown Colorado Springs. They are artists, communicators, and lovers of our community. Their team provides branding, websites, design, and development, and print design with...
It's so good, guys. Check them out. Neon Pig Creative. They're great. They're located in downtown Colorado Springs, just by Brakeman's Burgers. It's a good spot. So check them out. They do really good branding.
Epic Eyewear. Epic Eyewear brings style and clarity with their affordable veteran-owned sunglasses. From polarized to sports eyewear, find your perfect pair with a lifetime warranty at epiceyewear.com. Redefine mortgages.
So this company pretty much caters to their first-time home buyers, low credit scores, and more.
That's true. They do.
Yep. So start your journey with redefinemortgages.com.
That's redefinemortgages.com. Exponential impact.
Andrew, this is a sick spot that you got here, my man.
Oh, I wonder what it is.
What is it?
It's exponential impact.
Oh, what is that, man? This is so cool.
Exponential Impact is a startup accelerator incubator who really helps tech businesses get the funding they need to really grow their tech company. Exponentialimpact.com.
Talk about that.
Well, I wouldn't say that I didn't have any support. I definitely, my dad and my mother were definitely extremely supportive. But as far as like the rest of my brothers, I definitely left the house, and I got thrown into the concrete jungle in Los Angeles, from from the ghettos to the very expensive parts. I experienced it all, and it was definitely a good experience, and like learning from everybody, from the smartest to the not the smartest, like it's definitely a great experience, especially in LA, where everything is not as fast paced as New York, but it's pretty savagey in Los Angeles when it comes to the entertainment business and everything around it. So you have to stay on your toes, and you have to learn pretty fast, So man, that's a great experience.
That's the scariest place I ever driven in my entire life is LA. So I don't know what you're talking about, because
It's
it's not
fun.
standstill like New York, because New York standstill, but like outside LA, they're freaking crazy. But that's actually, I like the way they drive, just because there's no hesitancy, like with everything
Did you
that they
see
do.
the report where it said that LA has the best drivers? Everyone says LA is the worst drivers, but the report said
I've never seen that report.
Yeah,
I
it
have
just-
to look it up.
Bro, freaking anywhere in Italy. Danielle is behind the camera, but like it's freaking nuts. Like I don't know how there was not a single accident. They don't use blinkers. Sometimes the highways don't even have lanes. There was a part of the highway that didn't have a freaking lane.
I don't use
And people are
blinkers
just going
either.
like this.
Oh yeah.
I don't use blinkers.
I just don't understand. And then they have mopeds in Italy. So there's like mopeds on the highway going in between, like hitting your car, brushing your car. And you're like, what the hell? We're going like 60 miles an hour.
There's like bumper cars over there.
I don't know how no one touches one another. I just don't. But it's like LA, where there's a whole lot of concentrated people in one small space, and just you have to be a really good driver, and
You
you
have
have
to
to
be an
commit.
aggressive driver.
You have to be very aggressive. That's definitely true, and it's definitely a whole different vibe than growing up in Colorado Springs. And you went to high school here too, right?
Yeah, I went to Sand Creek and Colorado Springs Christian School.
Oh, CSCS, right?
Yeah.
Right down the street from UCCS, and we just had that shooting that took. I don't know if you've been keeping up with that. It was like 3 or 4 days ago. There was a homicide,
Oh yeah.
and they just
Double
arrested
homicide. Yeah.
double homicide, and they just arrested the guy who was out of Detroit.
Detroit.
Yeah,
no,
and
that's
he was living
terrible.
there.
Terrible.
It's crazy, man, and it's just, the city's growing a lot too. And I know you had a whole career over there in LA, and you've made your way back just because some things with the family. Obviously, there's some deaths in the family, and you've made your way back to Colorado Springs. And tell us a little bit more about that experience coming back here and just like kind of making your way and just meeting new people and just forging your way to new networking and opportunities here.
It's been a great experience, like just being in music. Like I said, it's really fast paced, and you don't get time to you have fun, but you don't get time to enjoy things. So being out here, I've had time to slow down and enjoy things a little bit more, from like skiing, snowboarding, hanging out with old friends, and just not being in that fast paced kind of mindset. So it's been great. And then also like you said, I've been able to meet some incredible entrepreneurs out here that I've been connecting the dots with, especially you helping me out, connecting, some amazing dots with the people in this town, like thank you for that. I appreciate it. But yeah, just looking forward to connecting more dots and helping people out, putting them in position to win, and just helping them with my experience, especially like the musicians, the producers, and the songwriters out here. I definitely want to help them out on a major scale, because I hear like terrible stories that no artists out here or no producers or no songwriters like really make it in the industry, but everybody out here is extremely talented. So it's like, like how do we as a city and as a team like come together and make that happen? We got to get at least one superstar out of this town.
Yeah. Well, we got One Republic, I think, right?
Yeah, but that was like 30 years
Yeah.
ago.
True that.
Hey man, they're setting it off with Sunset
Yeah,
Amphitheater.
they are, yeah.
I'm not like that's one of they're a great band, but that was they were popping 30 years ago. We
Exactly,
need,
yeah,
we
yeah.
need some new product. Yeah. Now this town, like, it gave me a lot of culture from different people, because you have the army here. So
Yeah.
when I was younger, I used to hang out with everybody, from the jocks to the gangsters to the nerds to the country people. Everybody. I was always in touch with everything, and that's what gave me my ear. I believe was this town, because I got to hang out with so many incredible people with so many different cultures, And when I came to Atlantic, people thought, he could only do hip hop and R&B. And I work with this kid Sueco the Child, and he's a rock artist, and no one thought that I could do that, but you know I did. And then also did the corridos, which is Spanish music, you know. And you know, when I was growing up, I hated Spanish music, but over here you get a high volume of Puerto Ricans and Cubans, so like you know they put you on to the salsa, to the reggaeton music over here. So you know, it's an incredible town for sure, with you know amazing cultures.
You got to go to the Pueblo Chili Fest, and that's like the mecca of this really good Latino music from all over. It's insane. They have like 6 or 7 tents going up the whole time. 100,000 people come to it. It's a big festival. I don't know if you heard of it recently, but it's
You introduced me to the lady at the event, I think.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, you
Which
did.
event?
I don't even remember which one. Which event is it?
The Terry Josiah event at his studio. Remember,
Okay.
because isn't her boyfriend like the karate guy?
Boyfriend karate guy.
Maritza. Oh, Flip and
Maritza and
Maritza.
Flip. Yeah, we love them. They put on the best of the
That's
West
them,
Wing
right?
Fest.
Yeah.
So that's a different festival. That's here in the Springs at the Mining Museum. Which see that, by the way, guys. That's their 3rd annual. It's coming up.
Yeah,
very
coming
soon.
up. They're probably going to come on the show. Go check it out. Do we know the
mid-September.
date?
I think it's September. I don't want to mention because I don't know the exact
September
date.
is, yeah, the
September
fall, yeah.
of this year. It's going to be awesome. They're great people. It's at the Western Museum of Mining and Industry. But this one is the Chili Festival in Pueblo, and it's the whole downtown that gets shut down for it. And there's a lot of great music there as well. Yeah, I mean, it's popping up everywhere. I mean, we have Big Mountain coming up this weekend too to play over here. We have Sunset Amphitheater with JW and all that. We want to get him on the show as well. That'd be great. And they're just building out so many different venues to build up for the infrastructure. But you're right. And one thing that we didn't even know about from last show that Shama told us was I think it's UMS. It's like a big, like it's almost like South by Southwest of Denver. Have you heard of that before? I want to go to it. I don't know if it's in March.
It's a music festival, right?
Yeah, it's a big music festival going on downtown Denver, and they have just like multiple bars and restaurants. I think he says there's like hundreds of participants in it. That might be something for you to check out too, just because the Denver scene is great too, and I feel like they're kind of intermingling now. This Springs,
Yeah,
Denver,
they're right next to it. Yeah.
yeah, and I think it's kind of getting that boiling point where we're gonna have like the next big whomever is gonna come out of somewhere in these parts. We'll talk about, and we're again going back to like the whole scouting thing. I'm kind of curious, like Anderson, like when you're looking at somebody, you go to a show, like what are you looking for? Is it like specific boxes you're checking off, or is it like instinctual? Is it a little bit of both? Like talk through that process as well.
Well, first of all, they have to be like, well, it transitioned a little bit. Earlier in my career, it was more about the talent. Musically, and then as you know social media started to take over, you have to see like which person does well on camera and who doesn't, who can perform and who gets shy during songs. And you know, like when a song transitions when you're performing, right, like most people stay quiet and then the crowd gets, you know, they get out of tune, you know. But if you're a superstar knows how to transition from song to song and keep the crowd entertained, you know. So those are the type of things that I look for, but they don't have to be necessarily like right there, you know. You could develop those things. With Sueco, he didn't have that in the beginning, you know. I had to go into rehearsals with him and, you know, cuss him out a little bit, like, yo, stop being a little B, like stop being shy, like grow up. And no, like that's the way that I am in there, you know, in the studio and in rehearsals. And if you see a Sueco show now, it's incredible. Like it's one of the best shows out there. So, you know, it's a lot of hard work for sure, like being behind the scenes and doing those type of things, you know.
Is that type of firm love? We talk about this all the time in our group of friends, but is that type of firm love, do you find it like work very well for a lot of the artists? I mean, like, hey man, like step it up, kind of like tough love. Do you feel like that's, I mean, it definitely worked for Sueco, right? But like, do you feel like that's been a good methodology for you?
I would say yes, but I learned to chill it out a little bit because people, like, you know, like they're also human and they have feelings, as do I, you know. So I understand that method is not always the best as far as like human emotion, but when it comes to getting things done, like in the army, like that's all they do. In the Marines, that's all they do. But if you look at their record, they're getting shit done, you know, like every day. And, you know, I went to military school, so that's where I picked it up from.
Okay.
And in my career, I would, like, if I got, like, you know, fired my first year, then I would be like, yeah, that it didn't work, you know. But no, it worked, you know. Like at Atlantic, like the Atlantic office, they would have like 20 interns, right? And at the Atlantic studio, where I would go every day, I had 8 interns. All of my 8 interns graduated into music industry jobs. They're vice presidents of Red Bull. They have their own companies. Like, they're in position. The interns at Atlantic that get talked to, like, hey, please do that. None of them ever got jobs. So like, to me, it does work. And if you look, like, like Phil Jackson, right, who I've been studying, like,
Oh, yeah.
like a maniac, and Bill Belichick, who I've been studying even crazier. Everyone thinks that Phil Jackson is the Zen master and he's chill, right? But
Yeah.
if you go and look at his resume and interviews of other people, they're like, no, this guy's a savage, like when he gets pissed off, like, he's gonna dig in there, and give it to you straight. And anybody that doesn't like that doesn't deserve to be there, because we're in this to win championships, to sell records, to try to compete with the best in the world. So yeah, I think at a certain point you have to have that type of personality around to be successful. You also have to have the counterpart to that too. The guy that grabs you and say, hey, it's gonna be okay, don't listen to him. And
Okay, good cop, bad cop.
yeah, so it's a whole thing. It's a whole crew. It's a whole team you have to put together and really process the personalities and see how you're gonna make them mesh together.
Gotta give a little bit of tough love, but if you reinforce it with actual love, I think that always does good. And like, come back to them. And I always find that that firm masculine love is very important. And as long as you circle back, being like, hey, I only do it because I love you and I believe what you can do. And if you're all in on whatever this is, then I'm all in on helping you get there.
2 different versions. One, if you do it to better somebody, then it's okay. But there's people that do it to demean and to belittle. That's the part that I don't agree. I would never do that to anybody. I just do it to motivate them and to try to get them to the next level. But I hate bullies, and I don't tolerate because I can tell when someone's just being the other way, instead of like trying to accomplish something for the person that you're trying to cultivate and develop.
Yeah. They just, do you know who Grant Cardone is? Big real estate mogul, huge real estate mogul. And then Jordan Belfort, which is the guy who, Wolf of Wall Street. They had a podcast like 4 years ago, and Grant went on there and was like super abrasive to Jordan, and they're just talking like normal sales tactics, and like Grant was like giving him like a crazy like runaround of like, if Jordan was the host, he was asking questions to Grant, and Grant was just like kind of questioning him back and kind of being belittling. And he recently just came out and said like, hey, that was probably not the right way for me to go about that. But I come from a world of scarcity, and like everything I got in my life was, I had to like really like grab for myself. And I realized now that I don't have to be like that. I can be a little bit more softer with my approach with people. And especially like, he wasn't into like collaborating with other people. Like at that time, he just saw Jordan Belfort as competition, and kind of like this was like a head-to-head versus type of thing, as opposed to like they're just on a podcast and talking about sales, and they can collaborate and talk about strategies, and it doesn't have to necessarily be who's better than who. And I thought that was a really cool concept, because that was like a long time for years where they kind of were like this for who was right, who was wrong kind of deal. And
I think if someone tells you you're wrong though, you kind of want to double down though. So I think that's what he did, is he doubled down.
Yeah.
in that kind of situation.
I think it's an ego thing too, because I mean, a lot of us, like, especially when we have success or whatever it might be, like, and someone tells us we're wrong, we don't know who the heck they are. We're like, who are you to tell me I'm wrong? Like, look what I've built in my life. And they have that confirmation bias of like, well, I don't know what you know, but I know what I know has got me to where I'm at today, And so it's interesting. You're right. It is kind of like a dance when you're dealing with people. And that's like your whole career. You've been dealing with people. That's what your Uncle Pancho taught you, like how to deal with people,
And my dad, he was verbally like aggressive, like probably like 10 times more aggressive than I was. So like dealing with him, like it taught me how to deal with artists, And once I deal with the artists, like I came back and I was like, dang, like my dad is easy compared to these guys.
Really?
Yeah. Like these artists are insane, Like,
Artists, are insane for sure. Yeah.
Dude, as a marketer, I loved always talking to our East Coast clients, and everybody knows East Coast folks are like notoriously like like blunt, in your face. Like you think Donald Trump, that's like all of them. They're all like, they answer the phone at a high pitch, like, hey, they have an intense energy about them. And I love that. I've always found those are the best people for me personally to be around, because then I can just give it to them straight. There's no runaround of whatever, and they get a lot done. And I think that's like when you're in the fast paced environments like that, you have to get a lot done, right? it's sometimes just what you have to do, man. So
Yeah.
you've been around all that stuff, huh?
Yeah, no, definitely in survival. They put you in survival mode, yo.
Yeah, dude, for sure. Well, your brother Derek was, I mean, you've have a whole family of just like different types of business moguls, right? Derek was one of my best friends for a long time, and he was he was such a risk taker in everything he did. And that, I mean, your dad was like that too, and everything he did in life. I mean, we go to the casinos, like they're like everything they do, they had that rush. They wanted that rush to take risks. And Derek did some amazing things in his life as far as like day trading. And I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about that, but he's had some really cool accolades as well.
I've seen some of the clips about him too.
Yeah,
Actually.
before he passed during COVID, October of 21, before he passed. Talk a little bit about like Derek and like his legacy, because it was such a beautiful one, even for such a young person.
Yeah, no, of course he had an amazing career, a lot of ups and downs, and me and I forget who I was talking about my brother, but we were highly competitive against each other, and it was my mother. She asked me if I respected Derek as a business person, and I said no. I told her I was terrified of him. I was extremely scared of him, which is a level above respect, like because he
Okay,
like you said, like he was a risk taker, like. And yeah, he had his ups and downs, but going back to it, like he never like stayed down, like he figured out a way to come back up, and that's why like like it's an incredible like story behind him and what he did, because like he could have went left, and most people do go left when shit goes down the drain, but he got himself out of the pit and really hustled, really studied, and he took too many risks, but like it ended up paying off. But yeah, extremely sad story for him to pass away at such a young age. I feel like if he was here today, I would feel sorry for anybody who got in his way, because he would have learned so much, and he would have been extremely assertive, and he would have got a lot of things done, and he learned a lot from the market whooping his butt, like I just seen it because like you said, when you're trying to identify artists, you see a certain type of energy in their eyes that they want it, they want to make it. And the last time that I seen my brother come out of the hole, I just knew that he was going to do some damage, and it was just terrible with COVID what happened. But if it wasn't for that, no doubt in my mind he would have been killing it still.
Yeah, if I could think of any word, and we haven't necessarily talked with me on camera about Derek Leon, but it's just winner. He taught me a long time ago like what it actually takes. It's one thing to dream and have the gift of gab and be able to be like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. For me, like he actually took the risk, and he taught me to like follow somebody else, and like he took the risk full on, and we both did that together. It's probably why we're such good friends, is because I was like, this person's serious about whatever we want. Like he's like, we wanted to do a food truck. He had a food truck ready for me like a week. We wanted to do like this video vending machine kind of red box thing. He had something ready like within a couple of weeks. Anything he wanted in life, he went and grabbed it. Working out, when we first met, I was the buff big one between me and Derek. And
he was buff too, though, right?
Oh, he got way bigger than I ever
because
did.
you got buff, he got buffer.
He was bigger already, just in general.
Oh, okay.
He was a bigger person, so like his upside was unbelievable, and he didn't play sports as much as like me, so he had like no pre-existing injuries, and so he really took off and dedicated his life to like fitness and dieting and just having a healthy life, and like his whole like outlook on life was just taking things and seizing, like you just said about your brother, like he sees things. And it was a beautiful spirit to be around. It was just he was motivating for me to be around, all those years, and he helped me along my way to being like, okay, not just talk about it, be about it. And I always appreciated that. And I mean, like you said, his life got cut too short, because like I would say today, like we always had this kind of competition too, him and I, but like, man, I mean, the things he'd be doing today would be just unbelievable. And those are the things you need. You need people to motivate you and to be that competition and be like, all right, like I love you, but at the end of the day, like I'm still competing with you. I still want to kick your ass at whatever it is in business or whatever. That's a beautiful thing. And you have those people in your family, and it's just like, it's, I mean, your sister too, Leslie, she's doing her thing, and she's very business savvy as well. It's just like, your dad, you just taught a lot of those great qualities within your family, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. No, of course not. He did. And I think it was one of Derek's friends that acknowledged that in one of his videos. He was like, yo, these guys, they have, they had some good upkeeping and, some good, knowledge for young kids, So yeah, my dad definitely did a good job of raising us all for sure. And he stayed honest. He was very tough, but now that I think about it, I was like, oh, that was nothing compared to the rest of it. But yeah, no, incredible guy for sure. And my sister, yeah, doing super well with her concrete company.
Nice.
And thank
Is
you
it
for
here in town?
Yeah, it's in town. Okay. They have about 6-7 employees. They're bringing in some okay cash, and like they're getting some new accounts thanks to Marcus.
Oh, okay.
Marcus
Hell
is a genius when it comes
Yes, he is.
to the marketing and the emails and all that stuff. Because of Marcus, I think my sister got a new lead. They met with them, and I think they're about to do a new business deal. The name of my sister's company is A&R Concrete.
So you are one of the most random people I've ever met in my life in a lot of ways in your random free time. But you recently bought some Crocs.
Yeah.
And whenever I hear a video or see a video from you, it's a crocodile. You're taking a video of like your crocodiles in your living room. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? So tell us
Hold on, not the shoe?
What?
I thought he bought a pair of Crocs.
Crocodiles, people.
I got 4 dwarf caiman alligators at the house.
Okay.
Yeah. So
should have brought one.
I should have. I thought about. I was gonna bring the little baby one, but I don't want to like freeze it to death. Yeah, those things are super sensitive.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was smoking weed one day, and my last name is Leon, right? So in Spanish, it's in English, it's lion, right?
Yeah.
So this documentary on TV, there was 2 big ass lions crossing a river, and me my whole life I've been like, lions are kings, I'm a lion, whatever.
Okay.
And then this big ass croc comes out of nowhere and just devours the lions, right? And then the lady in the documentary says, these lions are no longer kings here. And I was like, dang, that is the dopest thing I've ever heard.
Hopefully you're not foreshadowing, bro. Like, what if your crocodiles kill the lion, the Leon? That would not be good.
It would not be good. My sister and my brother would be very happy though, because so I was on not a date, but I was hanging out with this girl. And I walk into this shop and I see the 2 big alligators, scales and tails, and I'm like, yo, I have to have one of these. Like, I have to. So me, like, I don't care. Like, I'll walk in anywhere, no permission, nothing. So I go straight to the back and to the owner. I'm like, yo, how much for these things? He's like, $2,000. I was like, yo, I'll give you the cash right now. He's like, you can't take it right now. You have to have some type of training. I was like, yo. Like whatever, bro. Like I'll come back in a week. So I kept calling him. And he's like, fine, bro. Like I'll sell them to you. He's like, I'll give them to you for X amount. So within a week, I had them at the house, and yeah, like I've been
That's dope.
Been chilling with them ever since. But
Yeah, okay.
the reason I got them is because these things are extremely scary, yo. Like, no matter if you pet them, you give them food, you give them love, guess what? They're still gonna snap at you.
Cold reptiles. Cold-blooded.
Yeah, ain't no heart, nothing. They don't care, nothing, yo. Like, so like, in the beginning, I was tremendously scared to pick these things up, but then I was like, yo, I gotta get over this fear, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And eventually, like, yeah, I got close to them, and now I could pick them up, like, throw them at people. Like,
You can throw them at people.
No, I'm kidding. But no, it helped me with the fear. That's why I really got them in the beginning.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay. Was that something you felt you wanted, you were struggling with, that you, what was the reason why you wanted to do that?
Just like mental blockages and some fears, because like he said in the beginning, like I'm a little bit more introverted. So I was like, yo, like whatever makes my heart like, pumping, makes me scared, like I gotta take over these things, So like that was one of the things that I was like, holy crap, even a little gator this big will put the fear of God in you, when it starts snapping at you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had to get over that fear. And even this, like the podcast, like I haven't done one of these in 10 years, so like
And it can be nerve-wracking for sure, especially because we got cameras and lights and everything.
No, for sure. It is nerve-wracking. In the beginning, I was scared as shit, yo.
I feel you. Yeah.
No, facts. But it's been an incredible experience with the gators. It's definitely helped me for sure.
Nice.
Yeah, it's cool to see like the videos. It cracks me up though, because he's just hanging out
That's
with
cool.
like gators. Like
I
that's what he
literally
does.
thought you said like when you said Crocs, I'm like, okay, he bought some shoes, cool.
Actual alligator. Yo,
Yeah, no, that's
they're gonna
awesome.
get like 6 feet. Yo, I can't wait.
So you're back here now. You've been scouting out some things, and especially in the past 6 months, you've been really getting connected.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about that and getting involved. It looks like specifically in the Colorado Springs scene, right?
Just meeting with like different, entrepreneurs. I got a chance to talk to Stephen Cooper, who ran Warner Music, and I believe before Warner Music, he was at Coca-Cola. Pretty big guy. He's somewhere in the middle of the mountains in his big ass castle. Just enjoying life right now. But it was an incredible conversation. He's a great guy, really smart guy. I was talking to him about my challenges, and he kind of told me, he's like, yo, there's no challenge that you can't handle. He was like, yo, you're made for this, and like, I was thinking like, yo, like, it's too much to handle. And this guy's like, yo, that it's nothing, I'm like, yo, this guy literally ran like 7,000 employees, and he's telling me like, that's nothing, so I'm just like, yo, like, it's a great conversation and very inspiring, so glad to connect with him. And it's been a bunch of other people, some guy with some McLaren that owns some spa, like I forgot his name, but yeah, he has like a bunch of nice cars. He was cool, also Clint, he has a great real estate company that's doing well. He has a gym, and he's an entrepreneur out here. He's a pretty cool guy. He does his workouts. He's amazing.
With Jim?
Forgot the name, bro.
Is it Accolade?
Yeah, Accolade, is it?
I know that's a privately held one that has multiple locations. That's pretty big here.
Yeah. Then I connected with my homie Don that owns the Ultra Flat Black, I think.
Oh yeah, I've never been there. Have you heard of that place?
He has some amazing talent pass by there.
Oh, it's a club or something?
It's like a little bar, and I think it's like a showcase room.
Ultra, that's over off of by the
by downtown, kind of.
Oh, downtown. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I thought I was thinking something else then.
Yeah, but who else? I connected with Derek from Street Champs. He was pretty cool, and Josh from Buku Loud, who I think has the best dispensary in town. So yeah.
He's got that loud.
Yeah, got that loud. Yeah, no, some cool people around here. Met this other guy just randomly. I bought a soccer field.
You bought a soccer field?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the guy that I bought it from, he had a 200-acre ranch, right? So when I pulled up, he had a nice house, and then he had what are those things? A hangar with 3 planes in it, right?
Okay,
and I was like, yo, holy crap! Like, who are you? And I was like, yo, you must have ran drugs for the cartel or something. There's no way that you can own this, right? You have 3 jets in the hangar, a nice house, and a nice amount of acreage. So he's like, no, bro, I'm actually the ones that shot down the cartels. My job was to go up in the air and shoot down the guys that delivered from the countries into the US. His job was to shoot them down, bro. And I was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
a
freaking
wild
nuts.
job, dude.
Yeah. And if you look at like this guy builds jets from scratch, like he'll make his own parts and everything.
Oh,
bro.
that's
like,
freaking awesome.
So I was really
I
intrigued.
love people like that.
Yeah, I was really intrigued by this guy, yo. And like he had, like when I walked into the hangar, he had 5 Ducatis, but they were from like the 40s or whatever.
Oh, that's
all
even
worth
cooler.
like 200
Yeah.
grand.
Yeah.
Bro.
Jeez.
Yeah, no, this guy was incredible, yo. Like he
Here in
was-
the Springs?
Yeah, here in the Springs,
Okay.
like older guy.
Okay.
When I first got out here, because one of the executives at Atlantic, he sold a company for a nice amount, like over 300 million, right? And right before he went into company mode where I'm gonna build it and sell it, he took a 2-week class with I think it was the Navy SEALs, right? So when I came out here, I actually reached out to the Dragon Man, and because they referred him, I was like, yo, I want to come hang out with you and just learn a couple things about, some of the knowledge that you possess, type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a wild man, dude.
Yeah.
That's
Did he get back to you?
I didn't follow up, but he did answer the phone, and I did talk to him.
Oh, okay, nice. Yeah.
I just forgot to follow up.
The follow up is a
And
bitch.
I'm gonna get there.
I feel you, man. Yeah.
You're making big waves already, man. It's
Yeah.
really cool and really impressive. And again, he's linked up with some people like Terry Josiah and just other people in town who are doing things and being involved in the community, which has been really cool as well. What's next for you, man? I know there's a lot of options for you. There's a lot of things that are coming your way, a lot of opportunities for you, and you're probably just weighing them now. But do you have a an idea what's next for Gary Leon?
Um, I don't want to work for anybody else, that's for sure. So, as far as being back in the major label system, I don't think I'll go there, even though it would be beneficial and extremely nice. But I think with what my uncle and my dad left me with the knowledge that I should be able to do it on my own. So just looking at different opportunities, that you've brought along as well, and I had an opportunity to do a deal with the Gator Farm, and I still do. I just haven't closed it out. So that was a great opportunity. Obviously, you with the Reagans, and the
Yeah.
switchbacks, like that was incredible. But yeah, just seeing what lands in my lap, and just trying to double down on anything that comes down. But for now, just overlooking the real estate and making sure that we're upkeeping everything, making sure that everything is running tight. And just like I said, when something falls in my lap and I feel like it'll be beneficial and I feel like I could promote the shit out of it, then yeah, I'll take it on. But yeah, there's been a lot of good businesses that have fallen in my lap recently, especially with like the network and the friends that I have. Like you've talked to Yoshi. That guy brings me like 10 ideas every day. And he's connected with everybody in New York, yeah, which is extremely crazy. He had me on the phone with Little Dirk's manager for an hour, and I never knew Little Dirk's manager, and we were on the phone for like an hour just talking about life, and now I know Little Dirk's manager because of Yoshi. Like it's
Nice,
crazy,
yeah.
yeah.
Connections are weird. It's interesting how that,
Yeah.
like, as I've progressed through life, you're always just like one or two connections away from anybody. Is how I feel, and it's wild.
So, honestly, like connections is what got me and kept me my job, because I had the connections to Spotify, to YouTube, to everything else, to where I didn't have to rely on the building to get me in those positions. I could do it by myself, type of thing. So I forget, my uncle used to tell me in the beginning, your network is your net worth.
Yeah.
That's true. Well, bro, we're getting ready to wrap up, but what else? Is there anything that you want to share? And if you do, that's your camera right there. Feel free. But is there anything on the map for you? And if not, then just give whatever you want to that camera as far as Instagram handle, anything you want to give to that camera. It's your moment to.
No, just follow Gary G. Leon on Instagram. Shout out to my homie at Ultra Lounge and to all the entrepreneurs. Shout out to Marcus with the incredible podcast. I can't wait till it gets 100 million views.
Oh yeah.
So that way I could get 20% of it. I'll be his manager. Yeah. Can't wait for that, yo. No, thank you for having me, and thank you for all the plugs that you've connected in the city, bro. You're an incredible guy, and I wish nothing but positive energy for you and your friends and your family, for sure.
Awesome. Thank you so much, man, for coming on. This has been an awesome episode.
Oh,
And
yeah.
We'll see you guys on the next one.